My Weird School, Book Number 2. Mr. Klutz is Nuts by Dan Gumman. Picture by Jim Paley. Chapter 10. Mr. Klutz is getting weirder. Your election day is fantastic, Mr. Klutz told our class the next morning. He had a big bandage wrapped around his head. I guess he must have either crashed his skateboard again or found another flagpole to fall off. Thank you, we all said, but I was a little surprised by the number of spelling errors found in them, he continued. We need to improve the spelling at our school, so here's that I had a device to do. If you students can write our list of 100,000 spelling words by Thanksgiving, I will dress up in a turkey costume and ride a pogo stick down Main Street. Yay! Yoo-hoo! Everybody hollered. How about 1,000 spelling word? Shouted Ryan. 100,000 spelling word. Mr. Klutz repeated. That's my final offer. Take it or leave it, and every word must be spelled correctly. Have a nice day. During lunch, I was sure that Andrea was going to start her list of spelling words just to show how smart she was, but she didn't. She just kind of sat there, picking at her food quietly. I've been thinking, she finally said. I've been to wonder if something might be wrong with Mr. Klutz. Like what? Emily asked. Maybe he has some kind of personal problem. What do you mean? Michael asked. Mr. Klutz is a cool guy. Would you rather have boring principal? My mom is a pathologist, Andrea said, and she said that people sometimes do weird things for reasons they are borrowed deep in mind. What does that mean? I asked. I mean, she's saying Mr. Klutz is nuts. I didn't say that, Andrea went on. All I'm saying is that maybe he didn't want to climb up the flagpole. Maybe he doesn't want to put on a turkey costume. Maybe he just wants to put people to like him. And the only way he knows to show that is to do naughty things. Maybe he's a sad, unhappy man. Maybe all he wants is a hug or something. That's the saddest story I ever heard, Emily said, then she started sobbing. Me, Ryan, and Michael looked at one another. We all rolled our eyes up in our head. Mr. Klutz is cool, Ryan said. You're the one who has got some kind of personal problem, Andrea. Maybe Mr. Klutz is nuts, I said. In fact, maybe he's not a principal at all. Do you ever think of that? Maybe Mr. Klutz escaped from home for criminally insane and he's just pretending to be a principal. Maybe our real principal is tied up to chair in the dungeon down in the basement. My friend Billy told me. There is no dungeon down in the basement, Emily said. That's just one of those urgent legends. Sure, that's just what he wants us to believe, I told Emily. He just wants us to know our real principal is tied up to a chair down there. He probably tortured him during summer vacation. I think you guys are not, Emily said. I'm worried about Mr. Klutz, Andrea said, beating her fingernail. Chapter 11. The Last Row. I don't know it all the mumbo-jumbo Andrea said was true or not, but I had to admit Mr. Klutz was acting weirder and weirder. After we finished the list of 100,000 spelling words and he pogo stick down Main Street in turkey costume, he offered to paint his spell hat orange in our school got the highest rating school in the county. We did, and he came into school the next day with an orange hat. Then he offered to let every kid in the school shot a ping pong ball at him if he collect enough bucks to top to buy new computer for school media center. We did that too. It was fun shooting ping pong ball at Mr. Klutz, but even I was beginning to worry that there's something troubling him. And then came the day when he was advised to to everybody that Mr. Klutz has gone off the deep end. It was the end of morning announcement. Miss Daisy has stepped out of the room for a minute. Boys and girls, Mr. Klutz said over the loudspeaker, winter vacation is coming up. If the student at our school read with their parent for 1,000,000 minutes before school lets out, I will bungee jump off the roof of the school dressed as a Santa Claus. Me and Ryan and Emily and Andrea and Michael all looked at one another. That's the last straw, Andrea said. There's a plenty of straws, I told her. Do you want me to get you one? She means we can't take this anymore. And Ryan told me. Is that what the last straw meant? I asked. I always wonder what the last straw meant. At first, I thought Mr. Klutz was just a funny guy, Andrea said seriously. And he is, but he's only definitely disturbed man. We got to do something. If he keeps going like this, he might hurt himself again, or even worse. If we don't stop him and something trouble happens, it will be our fault. I never thought of it that way, I said. What can we do? Emily asked. We're just kids. We have to have an intervention. Andrew said. What's that? Ryan asked. It's when you sit down and tell somebody that have a problem. Andrew explained. You force them to do something about it. My mom has to do intervention all the time. I'm not telling Mr. Klutz he has a problem, Ryan said. Me neither, agreed Michael. Hey, Jay, you start this whole thing, Andrew told me. I did not. Sure you do. You were the one who gave him the idea to give our son teeth for learning in the first place. That's true, the other agreed, looking at me like I was a criminal or something. All I did was hit a puck into Annette, I said. Hey Jay, you got to tell Mr. Klutz that if he bungee jump off the roof, we're not going to read 1 minute with our parents. Andrew said, two can play at this game. If he's going to do crazy things, we won't read any more books. We won't spell any more words. We won't do any more math problems. We won't learn anything. I couldn't believe I was hearing this from Andrea. Her idea of having fun is to read a dictionary during recess. If she was willing to give up learning, she must be very serious about Mr. Klutz and his problem. But if we stop learning stuff, I protest, we'll get dumber. In your case, Andrea told me, that would be impossible. Chapter 12. A hard bargain. That afternoon, we talked Miss Daisy into letting us go to Mr. Klutz's office for a meeting. We need to speak with Mr. Klutz, Andrea told the school secretary. It's very important. It's a matter of life and death, Ryan said. The secretary let us in Mr. Klutz's book. Mr. Klutz wasn't hanging from the ceiling or anything. He had on boxing gloves and he was punching his punching bag. May I have you kids? He asked. Go ahead, AJ, Andrew said, giving me a shove from behind. Mr. Klutz, I told him, we have come to make a deal with you. Really? What kind of deal? We decided we will read 1,000,000 minutes with our parent, but only if you don't jump off the roof. Only if I don't jump off the roof? He said, looking puzzled. But I was going to jump off the roof as an incentive to encourage you to read with your parent at night. Well, we are going to read with our parent at night as an incentive to make you not jump off the roof. This is highly unusual, Mr. Klutz said. I thought the principal should offer the student incentive, not the other way around. Your incentive have been getting more and more dangerous, Andrew told them. We're afraid that you might get killed trying to help us learn. Yeah, if you die, we'll feel guilty, I added. Now let me get this straight, Mr. Klutz said. I offer to jump off the roof if you read 1,000,000 minute a night with your parent, but you say you will only read a million minutes with your parent if I don't jump off the roof, correct? That's right, Will said. What if I jump off the basketball backboard in the gym into a swimming pool filled with foam blocks? Mr. Klutz asked. Would that be okay? No, Will said. Can I wear a shoe made of bubble wrap and jump off the stage in the auditorium? No! No jumping off anything, Andrea said. Not if you want us to read or write or do math. That's our final offer. Take it or leave it. You drive a hard bargain, Mr. Klutz sighed. Okay, I won't jump. Have a nice day, Will said. Chapter 13. Poor Mr. Klutz. The kids in the other grade were disappointed when they heard that Mr. Klutz had changed his mind about bungee jumping off the roof of the school. Some of them were even mad at us for stopping him. But when it was announced that there would be a free trip to Waterworld if we reached our goal instead, they stopped being mad. Waterworld is probably the coolest water park in California. A few days before vacation, the school still hadn't reached our goal of million minutes of reading with our parent. It was like we were not going to make it in time. Then Mr. Klutz got on the loudspeaker during morning announcement. Student, there are 3 more nights to go before vacation, he told us. I hate to do this, but if you don't reach your goal by Friday, the full trip to Waterworld will be called off, and I will have no choice but to jump off the roof. Have a nice day. After hearing that, everybody started reading with their parents like crazy. Even 6th graders who say that reading isn't cool. Everybody wanted to go to Waterworld. We reached a million minutes the day before school let out of vacation. The field trip to Waterworld was awesome. They had around 100 giant water slides, and some of them you slid in the dark with laser beams shooting all over the place. We got to eat as much pizza and ice cream as we want. They also had one of those giant inflatable moon bunches dinges, where you jump around like crazy inside it. After water sliding, eating all that junk food and bouncing the moon bounce, I thought I was going to throw up. It was the greatest day of my life. Me and Ryan and Emily and Andrea and Michael went looking for Mr. Klutz to thank him. We want him stand next to Moonbine's stingy. Great party, I told Mr. Klutz and we all gave him a big hug. If you ask me, you're the greatest principal in the history of the world. Thanks, Susie. See, you didn't need to bungee jump all the school to make us learn. And they said, I guess not, Mr. Klutz said. He was looking up at the moon bombs. But I was just thinking, if you brought one of these moon bombs thing out in front of the school and I went up on the roof. No, we all yelled. I wouldn't even need a bungee cord. No, it's pretty soft. No, I think it's going to be very hard work helping Mr. Klutz get over his need. He has to do naughty things. Maybe by June, if the whole school worked together, we might be able to cure him. But it won't be easy. My weird school. Something weird is going on. Principal Klutz was hanging up sundown from the school flagpole. He kissed the pig on the lips. He painted his bald head orange. And now he wanted to bungee jump off the roof of the school, dressed like a Santa Claus. Mr. Klutz is Nuts by Dan Gumman. Picture by Jim Palett.